So, as mentioned earlier in our first episode of the Future Ready series, we were talking about the different skills that we need in the 21st century setting. But now we want to zero in on exactly what skills we need in the specific industries and what industries these are like. So, to our speakers, hailing from the education sector, the business sector, and the HR sector. While some people might say that these are very different, I think that in some ways they are very interconnected. But I'm sure you all have your own experiences to back up an answer to this. So, to our guest speakers, how exactly did you know that this was the career path for you? So, I think all of our Gen Z audience members today, they're kind of overloaded with information. They have so many options at their fingertips. How did you start this career in this field? And how did you know that this is the field that you wanted to stick with? So whichever guest speaker is ready, they can give the first answer. How did you start your career? How did you know that this was the industry you
Maybe I
wanted to
can
stick with?
start. Sabi nga nila,
Mm-hmm.
ladies first, di ba?
Okay.
Being an HR practitioner is actually not just a career, no, but sa akin, it's a devotion talaga. And I will give you four, no. Um, how did I know that this career path was really for me? First, I started by assessing my skills and interests, experience, and then I thought about my career, my ideal career. And second, influence. Sino ba nag-influence sa akin? From a very early age, actually, my parents had encouraged me to develop a habit of talking, engaging, ayan, pagiging extrovert ko talaga with other people. And that's why I became a people person. I am always inspired to know how and why people act in different manners. And siguro since my childhood, I have been close kasi to a cousin who took up psychology and she's now a doctor. Her take on matters of people's behavior, no, talagang doon used to leave me in awe. And we used to sit down for hours at an end and talk about the same. No? And it was there that I developed a keen interest in career in human resources. And when the time came, my cousin guided me to help me take the decision. So ito, HR practitioner na ako. So if you are someone who realized your passion for your field over time, confidence is the key. And thirdly, no, partnering with Rex bookstores. Third, read books. Sabi, a book is a man's best friend. And this statement could not be any more true. We have always gone to books and documentaries to look for inspiration of despair. And may mga life stories din, our heroes, they always have inspired us to get up and get the job done with a fresh zeal. And but then, sabi rin nila, no, which I personally experienced, without passion and diligence, nothing can inspire you. And I will not take so much of your time. Lastly, we all have at some point or another look up to our teachers who leave a great impact on us. Ang dami ko niyan eh. I can still remember my English teacher. So, be it it's school or college, there will always be a teacher or professor who encourages you to develop more on a particular aspect to help you get better at it every step of the way. So that's for me, Bianca.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Miss Divine. So you heard it straight from her. I hope you got all those points. How do you know that this path is for you? First, you need to assess your skills. Make sure you have a good circle of influence. So you're very lucky that you had that cousin who was able to influence you to pursue psychology. Read books. Alam ko, uso ngayon ng puro digital. There are still books in digital form. So perhaps if you're not used to the traditional paperback, you can still avail of the PDF. And last but not least, also look up to those teachers that or professors that can encourage you. And I think, well, we do have a professor now among our guest speakers, Prof. Jake. Would you like to go next? How did you know that this is the path for you?
Yeah, definitely. I'll go ahead and I'll also refer to some of the things that Divine mentioned because some of the points she mentioned a while ago also closely resonate with my experience, Bianca. Alam nyo, this my passion for education and my you know decision early in life to pursue this career in education really started when I was very young, Bianca. Alam nyo ba, when I was young and I was reviewing for, let's say, exams or an assessment in school, no, instead of studying the material the normal way, or babasahin or magpa-practice if there were math exams or what, right? You know what I would do? I would actually pretend to teach the content, and I would realize that material would be retained much better. And I was able to really absorb what it was that I was learning by pretending to teach it. I would set up, a classroom with pretend students sa bahay namin sa Antipolo, and I would teach. And my mom would laugh at me, but later on also supported me there. Binili pa niya ako ng whiteboard, humiram pa siya ng upuan dun sa mga kapitbahay para kunyari may classroom. So I said, oh, parang this was really what I'd really want. But really, similar to also what Divine said, through from grade school all the way to college and even grad school, when you just sit in a classroom and be inspired by the way your teachers or professors would teach, yung mga edukampiyon natin, right? It was not just the lessons that I was really learning, but it was also, themselves. They were teaching a lot of themselves to the students. And I do remember one of the, quotes that I got from my Jesuit boss before. You teach who you are. So more than the content that you're sharing, it's really yourself. It's really the values, the attitudes, your outlook, that you're really imparting when you're in a room filled with students. Of course, I would also have to say that throughout my years in schools or working in schools, I also saw limitations, or certain areas for improvement, whether they're from myself or from other colleagues. So sinabi ko rin, Bianca, na there are ways to help a teacher become better, or there are ways to move on from, let's say, observed gaps or lapses in the teaching. So over time I've also developed that growth mindset, that sense of possibility all the time. Na if you fall down or if you encountered some errors or mistakes, you just move on and be able to recover given the next opportunity. And finally, in education, it's just the magic of always being able to share with others. We know a lot of experts, we know a lot of people who are very good in their respective fields, and some people would not easily share, or would not generously share what they know with others, because maybe they're very competitive in nature, or certain industries require them to be so, right? But the way we move forward, I think, as a people, as a nation, would be when people are just generously sharing what they know, what they have, to other people, and in the and to repay them back, I would also be sharing with others what it is that I have learned from these mentors, from these coaches I've had before. So in a nutshell, Bianca, that's how more or less the career path in education, in my experience, was formed.
Hey, wonderful. Thank you very much, Prof. So nakakaaliw pa lang na nung bata ka pa lang, pinipractice mo na kung paano maging teacher. I like what you said, that you really need to have that growth mindset. So maybe try this. If it doesn't work out, try another hobby that can turn into a possible career. Okay, wonderful. So last but not least, Coach Apa.
All right. I guess I'm the oldest here, so medyo mas matagal yung aking pinagdaanan. But just like Divine, I have a degree in psychology. And that wasn't my first degree. I first took up economics because I wanted to be assigned in the DFA to be an ambassador in Namibia. And then I realized I was never going to be an ambassador to Namibia because my intent was to have one-on-one conversations with people. And that gave birth to my love for psychology. But throughout my college, parang si Jake, di ba? I mean, he was teaching. Ako naman, my way of studying was to make the exam. So parang gagawa ako ng exam, magpapa-multiple choice ako kasi hindi ko maintindihan yung mga tinuturo. So gumagawa ako ng exam and I would give a copy of that exam to my to the yung mga top notchers ng class. Ipapasagot ko sa kanila at doon ako natututo na ito pala yung mga ano. The thing is, surprisingly, lang yung mga nilalagay ko doon sa exam ko, lumalabas sa finals. Right? So doon ako natututo and that's how I was able to really absorb a lot of information. Which brings me to answer the question of Bianca, paano ako umabot dito? Nanggaling akong guidance counselor, nagtrabaho ako sa Philippine Airlines, then I moved to the financial industry, then I moved to the mining industry, tapos nag-power generation, and the roles that I had, nag-HR ako, nag-IT ako, nag-customer service ako, nag nag-stakeholder engagement ako, nag-branding, nag-reputation, events management, you name it, I've done a lot of things. So at a certain point, I was thinking, bakit ganito ako? Is there something wrong with me? Hindi ko mahanap kung ano yung gusto kong gawin. So I guess some of you guys are still not sure what you want to do. Enjoy the journey. Don't feel pressured to really stick to a certain industry. If your heart's not in it, try it out. Learn as much as you can. There is such a thing as a transferable skill. So yung mga natutunan ko in one industry, nagamit ko in another. Right? As you grow your leadership skills, nagiging mas importante ang leadership skills more than technical skills. At saka yung mga technical skills niyo kasi yan, malalaos din yan in 2 years. So it's important to always continuously grow and find that love that you have in your heart to the things that matter the most. Find out what is the pain point wherever you are. Look for the pain point of the others and find a way to help them solve that. Okay, when you're able to look at that pain point, it is something that you will become good at. It is something that the world will pay you for. It is something that you would want to wake up for in the morning and stay up at night. Regardless of whatever field you go into, as long as you have love in your heart for that thing that helps other people, then you're on the right track. So live a life for others.
Thank you very much, Coach Apa. So I'm sure that was very affirming or reassuring to a lot of the people joining our session. Sometimes they get worried about stability, about staying with one job, but from your own story, switching from different industries, different positions, I'm sure they feel better now. Okay, it's okay to keep trying and to keep exploring the different fields that are available to me.